fantastic! Represent. Hello, lovely peoples. I am Michelle. This is my wheelchair Betty. It's just like waving. It's like, hello, wall. And you're watching Rebelwheels NYC. Boom, 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 boom. Let's talk about dating. You know, it's funny. There's this campaign going on, hashtag End the Awkward, and it's by Scope. And funny story, originally when I heard Scope, I assumed it was the mouthwash. I didn't know there was a disability organization in the UK called Scope until I was talking to a friend of mine about that. I digress. So in the video, there's a slew of disabled people of a wide variety of disabilities. They're talking about dating. So I want to talk about that. Do I prefer to date fellow disabled people? Yes, I do. If we're compatible. I mean, there are times where I've met a non-disabled person who knows another person in a wheelchair. They're like, oh, you two should date. I'm like, really? Why? They're like, because you're both in wheelchairs. And I'm like, and? They're like, so that's it. That's the only thing you have in common. You need to have more in common than just the fact that we're both in wheelchairs. But yet people assume, well, you're both in wheelchairs. That's enough. Why am I talking in a high voice? I don't know. I think within the disability community, there are people who will only date non-disabled people. And I think it's because they feel they're not comfortable with their own disabledness, and so they feel they've internalized the ableism, internalized the loathing. I've seen that where, like, you know, I'm disabled, but I would never date another disabled person. That's like too much disabled, which I think is a shame. Or they want to prove to the world that, hey, look at me, I'm disabled, but I can still get a non-disabled partner. And that says something about me as a person and my status and my worth. Like, you know, to date a non-disabled person is a step up. It's a sign that you still got it, that you're still, you know. Whereas if you were only dating for these people, well, of course that's what you're dating. That's all you can get, right? That's the assumption sometimes, which is really insulting because, you know, disability is just another way for a mind and a body to be. But personally, I do prefer. I would never not date someone because they weren't disabled, and I have dated people who were disabled and dated people who are not disabled. But I think I would prefer to date someone who was disabled. It's like, because typically the type of disabled person that I would date is intersectional. They're kind of more on the lean towards being an activist, so they already know. I don't have to explain it to them, which is lovely. Let me know what you think. Are you a disabled person? Do you only date disabled people? Do you only date non-disabled people? Do you date whoever? It doesn't really matter. Why or why not? Let's talk about it. Leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching, lovely peoples. Bye-bye.